Ambient audio, cameras at speed.
Amityville Playhouse, scene 28, take 1, first shot ever!
John.
Matt. Hi. Okay, right, let's introduce ourselves first.
Indeed, let's do that.
I'm going to look at that one there to start with. Hi, I'm John R. Walker, and I created, if that's a word to use, but I didn't write Amityville Playhouse / Theater, and I produced and directed it.
Indeed. I'm Matt. I was the director of photography, producer, editor, score writer, bits and bobs.
Location finder.
Yeah. It was all good fun though.
Okay, we haven't actually rehearsed this, so we don't really know where we're going to go with this, but I am going to start from the beginning, if that's okay, before I ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, Amityville, the idea was to make a British Amityville film.
That was the idea.
I'd seen Andy Jones had done one, and I thought, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. So the idea was make a nice local film right here in Dudley.
Mm-hmm.
So got a script sorted out, and the like, and the script. I'm desperate to talk to you, but I'm just going to throw this out to people. So that the script was written so that it would be filmed inside a theatre in the UK, and then Matt and I were going to do some guerrilla filming over in Amityville. Weren't we? And then the idea was to save on money, because this is a no budget film. I was playing the teacher simply because
we couldn't afford an actor.
No, and we were going to have, and he was just going to run around just for the sake of, oh look, we're in America, but we're not.
I was going to say, it all came slightly more unstuck because my cousin was getting married, weren't they, in Canada, and I promised to take a video camera across with me and film their wedding. And whilst I was there in this little town in Neepawa in Manitoba, I'd read the script for Amityville beforehand, and everything that was in the script just happened to bizarrely be in this town. There was a theatre that looked as though it hadn't been open for a while. I think someone had broken the doors at the front and it had been boarded up. And there was just everything that we'd read in the script. Every corner that we turned around, I went, oh wow, this could happen here and this could happen. And so I remember messaging you from Canada.
Yes, and I said to you, has it got a basement? And then you came in with these photos, and there's this old stone basement. Yeah. It was just stunning. Because I was in the UK and I was still struggling to get a theatre, because we had this beautiful old theatre in Dudley, but the council decided that I couldn't use it. They just weren't interested in helping me out.
Yeah, it was full of asbestos, wasn't it? So
well,
we couldn't get
so
in.
they say. And then I had a backup, always have a backup plan. So my backup plan was in Wednesbury to use the theatre there, the old closed down theatre, which became a bingo hall. And and somebody had broken in and burnt the basement, thus making it unusable.
Yeah.
And we had a British cast, and then you just kept coming back to me with more. I'm going, yeah, but has it got this? Yeah, but I've got somewhere to stay.
And it did have.
But has it got this? And you just kept coming back on, yeah.
Yeah, got it all. It was all there, which it was just bizarre, wasn't it? The way that everything kind of just fell into place. And so we decided to do it.
Yeah. Us and our massive crew.
Yeah.
So
3 people.
No, four
people.
Four
Sorry.
of us.
Yeah.
So 4 of us. So I went to a lot of work and effort on making sure everything was put together, as in all the paperwork was done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I've missed out casting here somehow. But I was going to jump to the airplane conversation.
Indeed, yeah.
Should we start with casting?
Yeah.
Let's start with casting.
Casting. Obviously, it became impractical for us to take a UK cast, wasn't it? Other than yourself, because of just the logistics and the cost of
money,
it.
And
as we say, it was such a low budget shoestring thing that we couldn't afford to do that. So my cousin who lives in the town out there, we literally got in touch with her and said, by any chance, if we send you a list of characters and people, do you think there might be anybody locally that we might be able to find? Because we're just doing it for fun. It's a bit of a summer project almost. And my cousin was just amazing at falling in love with the whole project. Like, yeah, we'll help, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll find your cast. And so they took the scripts and they auditioned. People were sending video auditions in.
And I was getting them sent to me all the time.
Yeah, and so the whole thing was effectively cast on Skype. So we'd never met these people until day one rehearsal. when we got into Canada. So we were still sleepy from the old jet lag.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'd got a room full of people.
We'd only just turned up. It's like, right, everyone's waiting for you, and they'd set it all up for us to have this on the same day.
It was just amazing, absolutely amazing, wasn't it, really?
But I'd got in touch, so we'd got everything ready.
Yep.
All my paperwork was ready, where we're going, who we're staying with, what we're using, and with the cast, everything was all in this big file. And you kept taking the mick out of me. Why have you got so much information?
Yeah.
Why have you got so, and you kept
We're
taking
not
the
going to
mick.
need that. We're not going to need that. We did need it, didn't we, John?
So we get on the plane. We all go to Heathrow.
Yeah.
We get on the plane and we go to Toronto. Yeah, that was our first landing in Canada.
Yeah.
And you even said to me, "Oh, John, you've got 4 hours between flights." I'm like, "Yeah, but it was the cheapest way of doing it."
Yeah.
And what we're going to do for 4 hours? You're asking.
Well, customs held us for 4 hours.
Customs let you through, fine, with 1,000 batteries in your bag.
Yeah.
Customs let me through, fine. They let my wife through, fine.
Yeah, we'd all got through.
It was just Rodri at the end, our special effects guy.
Yeah. So Rodri, our special effects guy, got this huge tub of latex, wasn't it, to build some of the effects and things on his face. And I think for some reason he got using his hand luggage. I don't know how he did it because of the size of the tub. Wasn't that probably what the issue was?
I don't know. I just remember this guy. He then came up to me when we were like waiting for our bags or something and said, "Oh, the man at customs wants to see you."
Is this
so
guy
I went
with
to
you?
him, and then he said, "What, is there any more of you?" I said, "Yeah, there's 2 more of us." So then I had to come and get you 2.
Yeah.
And then we all got sent back to customs, and he's going, "Well, what are you doing in Canada?" And so, "Well, we're shooting a film." He goes, "Well, where's your
Your visas.
your visas?" And I said, "Well, we contacted the Canadian embassy in the UK, and they said because it's I think because of the
Commonwealth
budget,
film and the
the budget and the like, it was there was no need,
Mm.
and because there was no because people weren't being paid for the job, and we're bringing money into the country just to pay for locations and whatever. There was I can't remember, but
Yeah.
they'd said absolutely it's
Yeah,
fine.
it was fine.
It was fine. You're going without this visa, so we did. And then when we said to him this, he just got all mad, didn't he? He goes,
Yeah.
"I'll tell you if you can get in my country or not." Okay.
So yeah, effectively we had a couple of sticky hours, didn't we? Where we were thinking, oh
Couple.
gosh,
It was
we're not
the
going to.
longest
It
wait
was.
ever.
And then eventually, just out of the middle of nowhere, this kind of very official looking guy came up with more dots or whatever on his uniform, and was just like, "So we've gone through your paperwork, and obviously in a Canadian accent, and there's no issue. You can come into the country." And it was just like,
Yeah. And then we went back to see that guy
Really?
again at the desk, and he was like a completely different guy. He's like
Yeah.
Jacqueline Hyde. He's like, "Hi, welcome to Canada."
Yeah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, "What?"
Stamps
10
our
minutes ago,
passports.
you were shouting at me. Well, 10 minutes, 4 hours ago.
yeah. So that was our only sticking
Yeah, it
point,
was.
wasn't
It
it?
was, but I
really?
was really scared that we'd done so much work and effort, and saved so much money.
Yeah.
And even though it's a no budgeter, it still cost, it still cost a good few £1,000s, and
Yeah.
it was every penny I had. So
And the majority on flights.
yeah. Well, I even borrowed some from my wife for that. So
Flights and food.
flights and food, and then we got to Canada, and the wonderful Deb, your cousin, picked us up.
She did.
And then she'd driven 100 miles to the airport,
Yeah.
and then 100 miles back to Nipua.
Nipua, yeah, indeed.
And then we met the mayor,
We did.
who was really nice. And we just, was it you that asked him, just randomly, "Oh, hi, Mr. Mayor, is it okay if you close the road?" Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I was going to say, filming in the UK, I've done a lot of stuff for quite large film companies, and to get a road closure in place or any kind, the logistics and the paperwork is huge. And because hilariously, the mayor in the town at the time, his name was Ken Waddle or Wardell, something like that, and he also owned the local newspaper. I'm not saying that there was anything, but being the mayor and the owner of the newspaper, and we just said, we've got this one particular shot that we would love to do outside the theatre, and we'd got the old town building just happened to be directly opposite, which is where it needed to be.
Which became
in the
our
script as well, which is
mayor's
amazing.
office.
And we just said, we'd love to do this shot on the street where he runs from across right at the very end of the film. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll just get in touch with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and I'll just come and shut the road off for you for the day." And we were like, "It's that easy? No disruption of business notices or anything that goes, no, it's fine."
We just, "What time do you want it done?" And then sure enough, it's just done.
And lo and behold, we turned up to the theatre the next morning to carry on shooting, and the road was still closed because the police had forgot to pick up the signs. Do you remember? And the road was still closed. It was amazing.
I've never been to any... In the UK, I struggled so hard. The council was so anti anything.
It's very,
they just
very
weren't
difficult.
interested
Well,
in helping me out.
be, yeah.
Because there was no money involved. They just weren't interested. When we went there, There were things like we went to the hotel and we said, "Can we use your hotel?" Yes. Will you be in my film? Yes. And then the bookshop, which is, I'm told, it's closing down.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Whatever your question, it's yes." I said, "Can we shoot in your bookshop?" Yes. "Will you be in my film?" Yes. And then he goes, "Who's feeding you?" And we said, "Well, Deb." And he goes, "Well, here's a dozen eggs." And I go, "Oh my God, so you're paying us with eggs to..."
We were so incredibly lucky because once we actually got there, there was no barrier.
It was the nicest. I've never in my life met such nice people.
No.
Even the strangers. I want my house to be that house there. So we randomly go to some random person's house, knock on the door and say, "Look, I'm so sorry, it sounds really, really weird, but we're from the UK, we're making a film here." She goes, "Yes, I've read it in the paper." I said, "Oh, okay. Can we shoot your house?"
The mayor
Yes.
put in.
Yeah. Can we shoot in your house? Yeah. I mean, shoot the external. She goes, "Oh, do what you want."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my God."
It was a phenomenal experience,
The
wasn't it?
nicest people ever.
Absolutely brilliant.
But it was 14 very, very hard days.
Yeah, they were very long days. I think the schedule was 12 hours a day, wasn't it? And then crazily, because my job particularly, all the batteries, because we'd got so little in the way of crew, all the batteries had to be charged, all the footage had to be downloaded onto drives and put in the right order so that we knew what scenes were what. And then there's always that, just have a little look at the footage and...
Little look, you were there for hours. We were so tired at the end of the night.
I was, so
and yet
I was
you'd
probably
still
pulling at
vanish
least
for a few
18.
more hours and then come back and I've edited this again and go, "What?"
Yeah, well, I was very aware, I think, because of the short timescale that we had to actually make the film and the fact that if we missed anything, we couldn't physically just up and go and, get that footage in the edit. So I had to make sure that what we'd got would edit together and the story would be told on the day. So I do remember just thinking, I just need to make sure that we've got everything that we need, because once we're back in the UK, it's too late. We can't do that.
But what I wish I'd done, I wish I'd changed the script to the point that the characters are stuck in the theatre for the whole film, because it was written for the UK, for them to be stuck in the theatre.
So we could hide the fact that we weren't in
And when we were
North
actually
America.
really, even though I guess we weren't in America, but even though we were, we were across the sea. I just would have liked to have seen them outside a little bit more.
Yeah.
Besides them getting to the theatre, we never actually see an external shot.
Because we had half a day, didn't we, where we did some externals with you, where you were driving around Nipua and pulling up outside a library, and the library was locked, and then you were pulling up outside somewhere else. So the only real exteriors that we got is when they turned up there, and then you as your character, wasn't it, really?
Oh, and the chicken place where they had their
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and how lucky again, they let us use it.
Well, that was, again, by sheer chance, the guy that we'd cast as Baker, Lyndon.
Yeah.
What was his character called?
Kyle.
Kyle, yeah.
Kyle Blaker.
Yeah, his aunt run the
Oh,
chicken
was it?
place, wasn't it? I think it was either his aunt or he'd worked there previously, and they were just
Yes,
like, yeah, there's no problem.
yes.
Just come and do what you want.
Of course.
Yeah, and then they fed us on that day because we were all there. And they literally closed half the restaurant, didn't they? So that people could still eat at the other side, and we'd got complete access to the other side to do just that little short scene, yeah. We were so incredibly lucky.
were, and I want to go back so much to make another.
Yeah. Should we make a sequel?
Yeah, I'd like to. And I think, especially for myself, I've learnt so much since then.
Yeah, well, it's 6 years on, isn't it?
But
We've both done a hell of a lot since then.
some of the reviews weren't as positive as they could be.
Yeah, but then
But I read
we
through the
never
lines.
made it. We never made it with the intention of it being as.
It's a no-budget film. You
Yeah.
know, it cost under $20,000.
It was. I mean, I think one of the reviews that I read was that it looks like a student film, and made just over a weekend with a bunch of friends. And in reality, it was.
It
was
kind of
like,
is just over more than a weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly
in a foreign
what
country.
It was. Yeah, and so I think, personally, what we actually physically achieved with what we had was.
And what I had you
mind-blowing,
doing.
really.
So I had my very pregnant wife booming
boom mopping. Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
I held all the audio
You
gear
had-
on my chest because so she hadn't got to carry it, as well as all the camera gear.
Plus, when you were doing your Steadicam stuff, I was making you just do it over and over and over again. I was looking at some of the raw footage today,
Yeah.
and there were some scenes, like when they arrive at the theatre,
Yeah.
we did that 14 times.
Did we really?
Yeah. And I know what I'm like. I could be...
Is that the shot where the truck comes through and we turn and?
It's just them walking. Just them walking.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Wow.
but
all of that's kind of lost in the backs of my memory.
Well,
somewhere,
it's only
suppose.
today that I happened to be looking for something else in
Yeah.
that footage, and I happened to find. I thought, oh my lord, did I really make everyone do everything over and over and over and over again?
Yeah.
So
And I think when you watch it back as well, there's always a million things that we could have done differently, and a million things that we wouldn't do now because of the experience that we've had over the last 5 years making various other things. But I'm still quite proud of what we achieved.
I'm really proud
I'm very
because
proud of
I've
what
gone
we
back
achieved.
to it now,
Yeah.
and now we've got this new distributor. I've gone back to it and I've said, right, what can we do to, it's 100 minutes long, and
Yeah.
that's a long film for a low budget.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it needs. I said to myself, I'm going to take 30 minutes out of it, and I'm like, but I was going through it. Well, I kind of need that. Well, I like that, and I like this. And then you've got the British scene. I think, well, the British scene I extended because we had such a wonderful ensemble. All those
Yeah.
actors there were famous child actors. And they were so good. And I'm like, oh, I'll cut that. Even though they were good, they don't add to the story, they don't move it forwards. But I thought, well, in a way they do, because they are... she brings the demons up, and I just wanted something to kind of trigger his mind when he does do the demons, because that was always a problem, and how we kind of figured out
Yeah.
that November the 13th would be the...
Yeah, I was going to say now we've gone back, haven't we, over the last couple of days, and we've just tweaked. If we like, we've called it the spoon feed edition, purely on the basis that from the reviews and people that had said before, they didn't understand the jumps in time and
But
how it
these
happened.
are this was me. I am a big Amityville fan, and I'm a lifelong fan. And I went through there was 12 films out before. Well, there was 11 films out before mine, and I went through them bit by bit. I wrote down who was killed, how they were killed. Was it a supernatural death? Was it a real death? How many people were killed during the films? And it was kind of weird how many films had 6 people die after the initial Ronald DeFerro had killed his 6 members of his family. And I thought, well, that's definitely something there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of information there, and I think the mayor gives a lot of that information away. But because I guess my lack of experience as a director, I didn't get as much information out as I should have done, and I expected people to know stuff without actually giving it to them. There's definitely a lot of information in there, and there's also a lot of what's the word? It's linked to all the Amityvilles somehow. Even stupid things like the phone number on the real estate is from Amityville 2. And
Okay, yeah. So even I'm as much as you're a huge fan. I remember you come to me and go, "We're going to make an Amityville film," and I was like, I haven't seen any of them. So I had to go and watch a few, and I was thinking, I don't know whether this is the kind of thing I want to do. But then actually, when doing it, it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I was surprised for such a religious town how everyone didn't have a problem that we're making a horror film, because they knew it's just rubbish. It's just made up rubbish. There's nothing real there.
Yeah, it was very just relying on the creative side of it and allowing us to do what we wanted, which was amazing, really. Wasn't it?
And it was going to be the 13th film because Amityville: The Awakening was coming out before mine.
That's right, but they delayed it, didn't
And
they?
then they delayed it, and I thought, oh no, it's going to be the 12th Amityville film. I really wanted it to be the 13th, and out of nowhere, somebody releases Amityville Death House, and it came out 2 months before mine, making mine the 13th film again. I'm like, yes, Amityville 13 is mine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look, we brought some bits along today. Let's see what we've got.
What have we got?
Well, okay, I'll start with. I spent a long time on pre-production for this film.
You did.
A long time, and I made so many props. Things like the posters for Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher are now a real band.
Oh, the ones on the outside of the
Yes.
theatre? Yes, yeah.
And Skull Crusher was a made-up band for Amityville. It's About Time, and it was on somebody's T-shirt. And I thought, oh, okay, then I'll just have them being in the town again.
Another
I'll have
link
a
to
local
another
band.
film, yeah.
So another link, and I did actually contact. I looked it up, and there is a real band called Skull Crushers. So I contacted them and said, look, would you like to be a part of my film? In the fact that I could use your posters if you like, because if it was your band they advertised earlier on.
Yeah.
But they got back to me too late. They literally got back to me after we shot the film and said, yeah, that'd be great. And I'm like, oh guys, you've missed the boat. You've missed the boat.
Shame.
But so favourite
So you
props.
made all of these books, didn't you?
Oh my god, there's so many of them, and they get like a 1 second feature in the film. But I've just done a small scene for a film called Amityville Hex.
Yeah.
So somebody else's Amityville film. So
I remember taking the picture for that house.
that was you. You took that.
Yeah, we were doing a pre-production day and in Canada. In fact, no, this was when I was at my cousin's wedding, I think, and I took a photograph of some of the houses, and I just sent you some of the photos of what the place was like, and you went, oh yeah, I'm going to use them.
But we didn't use it. But I mean, like even that's called Amityville Catacombs of Long Island, and because there are no catacombs in Long Island, as far as I know, but there are in our film, and it's written by Helen Royce and Clifton Stone, who are both characters from.
Oh, hello. How strange.
Characters from a different Amityville film. Then you got Long Island 15th century demonology. Yeah, absolutely. That's a picture I painted at school.
Love it.
Still have it.
Brilliant.
Another picture I painted at school. Demonology and the Shinnecock tribe, which is the tribe that's supposed to have lived up in that area.
Yeah.
And by Charlotte Pilbeam, if I said that right. She was the girl who's going to be in my film initially when we did the UK shoot. And then, I still managed to get her name in somehow.
That's my favourite one. Look at that.
Amityville, A History of Ghosts by Dr. Elliot West, another character from an early Amityville
With a picture
film.
of
The Roxy Theater.
Yeah, amazing.
And then, but all they are is just my own book. They start off with as if they're like the real book.
Yeah.
And then they kind of start off like they're real, and then you go into it, and all it is a reprint of my own book I wrote years ago.
Brilliant.
But these are the ones that I did for the film because he goes through the pages.
He does go through, doesn't he? Yeah.
And
the births and deaths.
And it took absolutely ages just doing hundreds of births and deaths. Whereas I wanted 60% of them to be like 13th of November.
Because these were on screen, weren't they?
Yes,
you could see. So anyone that pauses the video will actually be able to see that all of these deaths and names and things. Yeah.
Again, silly idea.
Great idea.
Well, he has to go to Amityville just to check the library.
Yeah. And hilariously, the library that we actually shot this in was in Wednesbury, which is about 7 miles away from where we're currently sitting.
Yeah. So the library external is in Canada, but when they go into the library, that's the UK.
Yeah.
So and that's the same with the mayor's office as well.
The mayor's office is in the UK, yeah, and all of the scene
internal
that happened with the mayor underneath the basement of the building.
Yes, remember when we got that? When we shot that, they let us have upstairs. They didn't actually say we could have the basement.
No.
And they'd shown us the basement as we were walking around, and we're like, oh, we could use this. And then
we just kind of guerrilla styled it, didn't we?
We just stole it.
Just like, yeah. Can we just shoot the scene? And they're like, oh well, we're not sure. There's lots of paperwork already down there. And we were like, yeah, that's what we want. We want it to look like, it's hidden away from public view. It's like the archives of the town. And so yeah, we went and kind of
and we shot the writer.
While we were there.
We shot Steve the writer.
Yeah.
How did we do that? Tell me the story.
Oh gosh, well, it was in effect it was a special effects shot, wasn't it? That was in the film. There was. And we had to shoot it on several plates, which was quite funny. So we worked out where Steve, our actor, was going to be, and we'd got Gary Martin with the gun that was going to shoot, and we did the shot of Gary, and then where Steve were, we shot a plate with Steve just falling out of shot, and then we'd got fake blood in a washing up liquid bottle, which you were going, and I was going, right, from the angle, you need to squirt it down that side. So I think was it you? I think it was you, wasn't it, that was standing there? So we hit record with the plain plate, and we squirted this fairy liquid bottle of blood.
Food colouring and washed up liquid, yeah.
Yeah, which worked really well because it hit the wall and just kind of run down. And then when we got back, we married the two plates together. So I cut a mask around Steve and dropped him on top of this plate, so it looked as though he was falling out. And then because it was like, how am I going to do the blood hitting and coming out the front? So I literally frame by frame drew it, which is like good old style like animation almost. I think there's probably around about 16 or 17 frames of where I just drew on each plate the blood coming out. But
it's so fast. It's beautiful,
quite well,
and it costs £1.50 or something, even less than that.
Oh, it was the washing up liquid bottle, wasn't it?
And the food colouring. But the fact that I'd gone to somebody, a friend of mine, mates, how much would it cost for you to do a CGI bullet hole? Oh, for you, Walker, And I said, what? We did it 50 quid. He goes, 50? I'll do it for 500. Yeah. I'm like, really? That's more than the film cost.
And we did it for nothing.
£1.50.
Yeah, £1.50. It's great.
So
what else have you got in your bag, John?
What else have I got?
I'm intrigued. This has been 6 years.
Okay, so when we did the yesterday's edition, where we put the dates on.
Yeah.
Okay, we were questioning whether it was supposed to be the year 2015, because it is supposed to be 2015.
Yeah.
but the 13th of November doesn't appear on a Sunday on the 15th, on
Yeah.
2015. We shot it September 14, and it was supposed to take place November 15.
Yeah, 12 months
But
later.
because 2015, the days don't actually. Friday is not the 11th.
I can't remember what days it was.
No,
yeah,
me neither. But I just
yeah.
remember them being wrong. So we never put the year on. But it was definitely 2015. Not only did the posters tell you that, but I was going through some of the props I still got. And
Amityville,
Amityville High. So one of the extras was wearing this Amityville High 2015.
Love
You
it.
don't even see it. You don't see it in the film. But the bit when they're standing outside the theatre, one of the extras is wearing that Amityville 2015.
Yeah.
So that does say that's the year it takes place in.
Cool.
And what else have I got here? Of course, I had loads of these printed up. I voted
Elliot Saunders.
Elliot Saunders.
The people's choice.
The right choice.
Cool. Well, I purchased this, I remember, on eBay. So the very first car, obviously because we were shooting in Canada, all the registration plates out there were Canadian. So I jumped onto eBay before we went and managed to purchase the New York license plate and shoved it in my suitcase when we got there so that we could change it on. The guy was called Mike, whose car we use, who's my cousin, and we unscrewed the license plate and stuck this one on. And in the rest of the film, they're all Manitoba license plates, but the very first one at least sets us in New York.
But even then, we had to swap it from the front to the back. So when he drives
Yeah, we
at the
got
front of
one
the car, then when it drives past the camera, we
Yeah.
swap it to the back so it can be from behind.
Yeah, which was quite funny.
And then when it
Which
came
is quite
to my character's car outside the house, we just blurred it.
We blur, yeah, at the top of the license plate where it said Manitoba, right? Because it was a
Funny
locked
Manitoba.
up shot, I managed to blur the edit so that you can't see the word Manitoba.
But I think what I did love what you did is the sign that says Amityville when he's driving into town.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually. That was a nightmare because again, with it being Canada, their speeds are in kilometres per hour, and in the US, the speeds are in miles per hour. So where it said, I think it says 40 kilometres an hour, I think it was, coming into the city line or whatever it was, the boundary. Everybody's going, oh, you can't put that because it's too fast. Everybody had been done for speeding. So I was like, oh no. So I had to kind of doctor the speed sign.
Wasn't it in miles as well? Wasn't it in miles as opposed to kilometres?
It could have been. And then the actual Amityville village sign.
Yeah, it was just like a river sign, wasn't it? A sign for the river that
it was
going past.
some river, yeah. So I literally took a square of the green and created a mask and copied
I like
that.
that.
And
I
then,
like that
And then
shot.
put the word Amityville on
And
there.
there's some you wouldn't even know that you've done. So like when you go to the library, you can actually see at the top of the screen it says Nipua Library or something like this. And you've
Oh, and
actually
we'd framed it out.
just kind of put a Y there, so it kind of
Yeah.
just
So you
very subtle that you wouldn't even notice. But what's the biggest subtlety that you did that nobody in the world ever noticed?
Well, yeah, and the one shot was a nightmare to recreate, but I think I know where you're going with this. Our young lady character,
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy, who was our goth character. There's several instances in the film where she stood next to something that would reflect. So whether that be a mirror, there was a couple of other things I think that we created, and every single one of those shots where she would have been reflected somewhere is a static shot, and we cut out so that at no point has she got
We shot it
any
again
reflection. Yeah,
without her,
yeah.
so that the reflection would be without her. And there's one bit when they're in one of the makeup rooms when it's just mirrors around. I said to you, man, this is just so stupidly obvious.
Yeah.
That
And no one's ever picked it up as far as we know.
no.
No.
So she's a ghost,
Yeah.
and that's why she vanishes.
And she
And
has
she's
no reflection, which is
No.
quite almost vampire.
I think there is one bit where you do kind of see a reflection of it in the little purple room, the room you hated with such passion.
It's dreadful.
I think there's one there that you do get a bit of a reflection, but that is the only time. The rest of the film, we worked really hard on making sure she didn't have a
make
reflection,
sure that there was nothing,
and that
yeah.
was our
like Easter egg, wasn't it?
that she was a ghost.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone picked up on it. So
So if you're watching it, or you're going to watch it again, if you want to watch it again,
well, we should
there's-
just,
there's
on
definitely-
our new edition, we might have just had a saying at the end like, "I am a ghost, by the way."
yeah,
I've just saved your life because I'm a ghost. I'm a good ghost.
yeah, brilliant. But yeah, it was good fun.
It was good. I just worry. I just upset that I guess some of the information that it was supposed to be. When it came to making my second film, I said to Steve, I'd thrown so much information at him. I said, "Look, Steve, the writer," I said, "Look, I'm so sorry. I gave you way too much information. Make the next one much simpler."
Yeah,
But I mean, this one, the firstborns get in the town. It's such a cruel thing because Amityville was probably a lovely little place. But
was.
firstborns they sacrifice to the demons, the
Yeah.
6 demons that live in the catacombs. Everyone has to sacrifice their firstborn. Nobody leaves Amityville, and that's why the parents were killed off, because they left Amityville and they moved away to...
Just north of Canada?
where did they go?
I can't remember.
We've only wrote it yesterday. We only wrote the name down. What's the name
What,
of the place?
Dannemora?
Dannemora.
Dannemora.
They moved to Dannemora, and that's why they had to be killed,
Because
they'd left town. Nobody leaves
yeah.
Amityville, but they left.
Nobody. It's all good fun.
But
Sounds
why
like a
am I
nice place.
explaining it? Why am I explaining it? I just. But okay, is that it? Well, are we going to
I think
finish
so.
the conversation? You know what's going to happen?
I've got.
Yes.
This is the actual camera that it was shot on. Now I've only kept this purely on the basis that it's been through the war since. I mean, it's very outdated. I dropped it actually on a World War II period drama for Sony Pictures, and smashed all the side off. But hilariously, with another monitor, it still works. But I still kind of treasure this one because it was the first released feature that we ever made, and it was all done on this old Panasonic camera, which was good fun. So it's still my little treasure, which sits on my shelf in my editing suite, which is it's good fun. Still love it.
I just remember you having to take 50 million batteries through.
Yes, through customs, which was good fun. Especially because I think one of the airlines had a problem with a few batteries catching fire, hadn't they, at some point? So literally everything had to be taped up, all the joints and things like that, which was it was a nightmare. Batteries were so heavy.
You had loads of stuff to carry. But weren't we lucky because they had a local TV station and we hired.
Of course.
Well, when I say hire, did we hire? Did we pay for it?
No, I think they just lent us. What it was, there was NAC TV, they were called, and I was worried that we couldn't get lights. We were so rural where we were, and I physically couldn't carry any lights really. And so again, my cousin, being absolutely fantastic, knew someone who ran a horror slot on their local TV station, which was called NAC TV. And they spoke to him and said, "Oh yeah, we've got some lights that you can borrow." So on the morning that we landed, I think we did a rehearsal with the cast and a read through, and then we went over. You went and paid the bill for the theatre that we were going to use, so that we reserved it for the 2 weeks at the council offices, and then we went to the TV station, and we went in, and I was just stunned. I expected it to be really high tech bits, and it was. It needed some updating, shall we say? And they literally found us this box of lights which had clearly not been used in a long time. I think out of the 4 that were in the box, 2 of them didn't work.
And then what happened?
And there was no stand. We dropped one, I think, didn't we?
No, we didn't. No, it
did
just
we
caught
not?
fire, didn't it? Didn't it just catch fire?
It could have done.
I thought it just caught fire.
It could have done.
Did we drop it?
But I can't remember. Again, my cousin Mike stripped everything down. He's a fantastic engineer. He stripped everything down, refixed it all for us. We managed to get new bulbs. Our smoke machine blew up. My cousin randomly disappeared for half a day, and then came back. And yeah, I've just drove 70 miles to pick you up this other one from a friend of mine that lives in the next village.
And we didn't even use it.
No, we did. We used it on the.
We didn't use it that day when we were going to.
No,
we needed it for.
We definitely used it at some point.
Because it wasn't all shot in the theatre, was it? There was a little bit there. The room with the rat. Oh, remember the rat?
The rat on a string.
That was shot.
That was what was that?
A centre.
Some community centre.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Because Rain, your lovely girl Rain, looked after us.
Yeah, but it was brilliant. So on the credits, if you look for smoke effects, there's a lady that's named who just lent us a smoke machine from miles away. It was brilliant.
I want to go back and do another one.
Yeah.
So if you've got
really
some money available and you want to pay for us to go back, we will go back and make another one. Because we haven't got any money.
No, unfortunately. Just spent it all on kit. On updating these broken cameras and things. So. Brilliant.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, I guess, and hopefully you've got a bit more of a random insight into the world of Matt and John and the crazy films that we make.
And congratulations on getting to the end of this complete ramble.
Yeah, but we've enjoyed it. It's been a lovely reminisce for us. So thanks very much. Take it easy, I guess.
Cheers.